in a world where loyalty can cost you everything, where truth arrives too late, and where even the noblest hearts stand on opposite sides of destiny. This is not a story just of war. It's a story of impossible choices, of brothers divided, of a warrior who chose friendship over victory. And it's a story of a moment where doing what is right means breaking your own heart. Welcome. It's time for story time. Chapter 6, the reunion of mother and son, and the battle of good versus evil. Today's story time invites you into one of the most powerful chapters of the Mahabharata, where gods walk among men, destinies collide, and the line between good and evil is anything but simple. Our hero, Arjuna, asks the questions many of us carry. Who am I when life asks me to choose? How do I act without losing my heart, myself? What does it mean to live in alignment with truth, with dharma? Through Arjuna, we learn that wisdom doesn't arise from certainty, but rather it arises from willingness to pause, to listen, and to grow. His story reminds us that the path of yoga is not about escaping life's conflicts, but meeting them with clarity, courage, and care. So our story. During the 12 years of life in the forest, the Pandava brothers received many more weapons and divine gifts from the gods. After spending a year in complete disguise, they returned to Hastinapur alive and well. But their cousin, Duryodhana, still refused to give them back their land and wealth. Remember, he won it by cheating in a game of cards. Krishna knew how the Pandava brothers had been cheated out of their land, and so he decided to step in. Born on earth as Queen Kunti's nephew, he was allowed to address the royal court, where he tried to convince Duryodhana to relent. But even when the god himself intervened, Duryodhana refused. "Never," he said. "I will not give them land equal to the tip of a needle." "I came as an ambassador of peace," said Krishna, "but I see that war will be the only way to bring justice." He glared at the courtiers. "You are allowing cheaters and tricksters to rule the land. The Pandava brothers will avenge the injustice done to them." King Dhritarashtra began to worry. "Are my nephews going to fight us?" he asked his wise brother, Vidur. "Of course they are," Vidur answered. "They will fight for their birthright. You must make peace and give them back their land." Bhishma, Vidur, and Krishna pleaded with Duryodhana. "If you don't give back the land you have stolen," said Krishna, "war is inevitable. You are so greedy. You're breaking all the laws of heaven." But Duryodhana was unmoved. Instead, he summoned the palace guards. "Arrest that man! He does not belong here," he said, pointing at Krishna. The entire court was stunned when, in Krishna's place, Lord Vishnu appeared in all his glory, with Brahma, god of creation, on his forehead, and Shiva, god of destruction, on his chest. "Arrest me if you dare," Krishna challenged, but the wicked prince had already fainted in fright. Later that night, both Arjuna and Duryodhana approached Krishna as he lay sleeping. They both wanted to ask for his help. Duryodhana stood by the headboard, glaring down at the divine being. Arjuna knelt at Krishna's feet with humility. Krishna awoke and spoke to Arjuna. "Tell me, what do you need?" he said. Duryodhana interrupted rudely, saying, "Me! You must help me first! Give me your army!" "I see you first, Arjuna. What do you need?" Krishna asked Arjuna again. "Nothing but you," Arjuna said simply. "Then I will be your charioteer, Duryodhana. Then I will be your charioteer. Duryodhana, you may have my army," Krishna said. "Ha ha!" thought Duryodhana. "I have won against the Pandavas." He appointed grandfather Bhishma as his commander-in-chief. Bhishma agreed reluctantly. "I do not wish to fight my grandsons, but I will, as I am bound by my own vow to serve the king of Hastinapur without question," he said sadly. The day before the war began, Arjuna asked Krishna to park the chariot between the two armies so he could inspect the armed forces on both sides. Arjuna saw grandfather Bhishma, Uncle Vidur, and sage Drona, his cousins, relatives, and friends on Duryodhana's side, and his eyes filled with tears. He turned to Krishna, his divine friend and charioteer. "I can't do this," he said. "I don't want to fight my old friends and relatives. No kingdom is worth so many lives, so much bloodshed." Krishna recognized Arjuna's confusion and despair. "Arjuna," he began, "this is your destiny. Put aside your personal concerns and feelings and place yourself instead in the hands of the gods. You were born to be a warrior, destined to fight on the side of good. You are the instrument through which the divine will work its plan." Krishna pointed across the war field and said, "Duryodhana is cruel and greedy. He will stop at nothing to get his own way. He stole from you and your brothers. He tried to kill you many times. You must not let him win this time. You have no choice but to do your duty and fight him. You must follow the law of dharma." As he spoke, Krishna took on an immense and endless form, the whole universe radiant and eternal, the blazing cosmos, the spirit that encompasses all. Arjuna was overwhelmed with awe, filled with wonder. His doubts and fears now seemed tiny in comparison with the amazing spirit that appeared before him. "Now I understand. You are the divine being who is everywhere, all at once and in everything. Thank you for your words of wisdom. You are with me, and I am afraid no more." Filled with courage, Arjuna picked up his bow and arrows. "Let us go," he said to Krishna. In the meantime, a few days before the war, Sun saw bad omens and feared for his son Karna's life. He visited Karna in a dream and said, "Son, beware of Lord Indra. He will visit you disguised as a Brahmin. He will ask you for the golden earrings and shield I gave you when you were just born. Your mother knows that these charms keep you safe. If you give them away, you will die, my son. Beware, do not give them away." As Karna stirred, the dream ended. The fragments that he could remember in the morning puzzled him. He thought, why would Sun call me my son? And who is this woman that Sun called your mother? The next day at noon, during his midday worship, Karna noticed something strange. The sun shone brightly in a cloudless sky, but he heard thunder in the distance. Ah, he thought, Sun and Indra are trying to outdo each other. Immediately, something stirred in his memory. Was this part of his dream? Then he heard another rumble of thunder and looked around. A Brahmin was approaching. Please, said the man, would you give me your earrings and your shield? Of course, said Karna, generous as always. They are yours. Heedless of the warning he had received from Sun in his dream the night before, with his knife, Karna cut off the earrings and cut away the golden shield, leaving raw and bleeding wounds in their place. I admire your courage and generosity, said Indra, disguised as the Brahmin. As he ran his fingers over Karna's gaping wounds, the skin healed without a trace of scarring, flawless and radiant as before. Accept this gift, my weapon, Indrastra, in return, Indra continued. You may use it once. If you miss your target, the weapon will come back to me. Aim well, and your enemy will surely die. With these words, he held out a long, gleaming spear. Thank you, my lord, said Karna, and bowed his head in greeting and recognition. When he looked up again, the Brahmin was gone. Karna soon received another visit from the gods. Lord Krishna had discovered Kunti's secret long before and knew that Karna was her firstborn son. After his efforts toward peace at Hastinapur has failed, he approached Karna. No one can escape this war, but you can choose your side. Side with the Pandava brothers. They are good men. Leave Duryodhana, who is a greedy despot. Fight on the side of justice. I will not leave my dear friend at this time of his greatest need, Karna answered. When everyone at the stadium jeered me, he offered me support and embraced me warmly. The Pandavas insulted me by refusing my challenge to Arjuna, and they sneer at my birth. Duryodhana respects me for my skills. For all his evil acts, he is my friend. Karna's voice grew passionate. I will not deceive a friend, neither from fear nor temptation nor coaxing. I would rather die. Lord Krishna heard the resolve in Karna's voice and knew it would be pointless to push him further. Queen Kanti, too, attempted to convince Karna to leave Duryodhana. She knew that Duryodhana would use Karna in an effort to destroy her 5 sons. She also knew that without Karna, Duryodhana would not have the courage to go to war, and she couldn't bear the thought of her sons battling one another. It is time to tell Karna about his birth. Surely truth will sway him, she thought. She approached Karna just as he was completing his midday meditation. What can I do for you, Queen Kunti? Karna asked. Kunti took a deep breath and began. You must call me mother, she said. I was barely 12 years old when Sun, your father, gave you to me, and I hadn't seen you again until the archery contest. But I recognized you in the stadium. Even as a newborn babe, you wore the golden earrings and the shield that Sun had given you. Her voice began to shake, but she steadied herself. Dear son, you must try to understand. I was so young when you were born to me. I was so afraid. I had to send you away, but I tried my best to send you safely. She reached out and put her hand on Karna's shoulder. My son, please join the Pandava princes. You must not fight your own brothers. They will welcome you as their oldest brother. Duryodhana is a bad man. I do not want any of my sons to die. Kunti's voice trailed off into a soft sob. Thus Karna finally learned who his birth parents were. For years and years he had wondered. Now he thought, how strange that now that I know, the truth makes little difference. Thank you, Queen Kunti, he said formally. Kunti said again, please, call me mother. No, said Karna, I cannot. You too must try to understand. When I was hungry and needed mother's milk, it was not you who fed me. When I got hurt, it was not you who kissed my cuts and bruises. When I had nightmares, it was not you who comforted me. When I was mocked and jeered at the stadium, it was not you who claimed me. It was not you who ran to embrace me. But I couldn't. I had fainted, Kunti tried to explain, tried to excuse herself. But Karna cut her off. You say that you are my mother. No, my mother is Radha, and for all her poverty, she outshines any royalty or riches. You tell me that sun is my father, but the sun pales in greatness next to my father, the humble Adhirata. They are the parents who took me in when I was homeless and abandoned, who raised me and cared for me. You, Queen Kunti, are the one who cast me away. Karna and Kunti were both sobbing now. For an instant they embraced as mother and son, and then just as quickly they released each other. There was a chasm between them that only time might bridge. But time was the one thing they did not have. Queen Kunti, how can you of all people ask me to abandon a friend? Asked Karna. But I cannot refuse anyone, he continued with a bitter smile. I will honor your request. You want your sons to survive. My enmity is only with Arjuna. If I kill him, or if he kills me, you will still have 5 sons as before. I promise not to kill your other 4 sons. Kunti left with a sad heart. It was too late to prevent this terrible war. Karna's heart was heavy too. For him, too, the war loomed darkly. He could not bring himself to abandon a friend, as he himself had once been abandoned. He knew, though, that the coming war would pitch good against evil. Through loyalty to Duryodhana, he was pledged to the wrong side. Deep in his heart, Karna understood that he himself must die, so that good might prevail. He would fight hard, but he would lose. He walked slowly away. He knew each step took him closer to his own death. The Mahabharata war was fierce and intense, lasting just 18 days. As Arjuna had feared, there was much bloodshed and death. Many brave warriors died on both sides. Grandfather Bhishma fought valiantly for Duryodhana, honoring his old vow to support the king of Hastinapur. Finally, when he lay mortally wounded in a hail of arrows, the Pandava brothers came to pay him their respects. Arjuna drove a spear into the ground so that sacred river Ganga, Bhishma's mother, could rise in a fountain to shower him with soft, cool water as he lay dying. With Bhishma's death, Karna rose to the rank of Duryodhana's commander-in-chief. He had long waited for a chance to kill his rival Arjuna and prove himself the finest archer on earth. His only worry was the loss of his golden shield and earrings. He had the powerful weapon Indrastra, but he could use it only once. He decided to save it for Arjuna. Just as Arjuna's destiny was to prevail on the side of good, Karna's destiny was to die because he had sided with evil. On the 18th day of battle, when Karna saw a chance to hurl the Indrastra at Arjuna, Indra immediately shrouded the sun with dark storm clouds. Karna may have hesitated just a second in the sudden darkness, but his aim was impeccable, and the spear would have killed Arjuna in an instant. Krishna, however, saw it coming and shifted his weight at just the right moment, tipping the chariot so that the spear sliced off the top of Arjuna's crown, leaving Arjuna unscathed. Karna had lost his opportunity. The Indrastra returned in a flash to the heavens as Indra said it would. Karna's luck was truly running out. The wheels of his chariot sunk into the deep mud of the battlefield. Karna jumped down and tried to pry the wheels loose, but they refused to budge. He was trapped, just as the old Brahmin had foretold. He tried to send an arrow toward Arjuna, but suddenly he could not remember how to use his bow, just as sage Parasuram had predicted. Lord Krishna signaled quickly to Arjuna, Now, it's your only opportunity. Shoot! Arjuna took aim and Karna did not have a chance. His earrings and shield would have surely protected him, but generous to a fault, he had already given those things away to Indra. Karna's death tipped the balance of power to the Pandavas. Duryodhana's army was large and powerful, but the Pandavas were united and determined in their fight against evil. They knew their cause was just, and they had the power of good and the support of the gods on their side. Karna's last thoughts were for Radha and Adhirata, his beloved parents. The generous Karna, though he had made fatal choices, had truly lived for giving. He gave his life, his final gift, out of loyalty and love. Because of this sacrifice, Karna traveled easily from this world to the next. His journey was blessed and watched over by Lord Krishna. Although Arjuna had won the battle and regained the throne, he knew that without Krishna's help, he could not have killed Karna. He bowed to Karna and acknowledged, Karna, you are indeed the greatest archer in the whole wide world. The story doesn't land as a simple good versus evil tale. It's far more useful than that. It holds up a mirror to the kinds of choices people still face every day. Here are a few grounded lessons that we'll discuss at Coach's Chat, but I'll tease you with today. First is that right action isn't always comfortable. For example, Arjuna's hesitation is deeply human. He doesn't want to cause harm, especially to people he loves. But avoiding action isn't always the ethical choice. Number 2, loyalty is powerful, but it can also mislead. Karna's loyalty to Duryodhana is admirable and tragic. He stands by a friend who once supported him, but that loyalty keeps him aligned with injustice. And number 3, generosity without boundaries can really cost you. Karna gives away the very protection that keeps him alive. His generosity is legendary, but it's also self-sacrificing to a fault. Number 4, we can't control outcomes, but we can choose alignment. Krishna's teaching to Arjuna centers on dharma, or doing what is right, without attachment to the results. And number 5, truth revealed too late still has impact, but timing matters. Karna learns his true identity only when it's too late to change his path. Unlike the popular saying that truth doesn't set him free, in fact, it deepens the tragedy. So as we close this chapter, notice what lingers for you. Not just the battle, but the choices, the quiet moments before action, between scenes. The places where the heart pulls one way and truth calls another. These stories endure because they are familiar. They live in us, in the decisions we're making right now around loyalty, courage, boundaries, and what it truly means to walk, to live in alignment. If something in this story stirred you, pay attention. There's more to discover in that stirring. And Coach's Chat will continue this exploration, bringing these ancient themes into real modern day practice. We'll unpack what dharma looks like in your body, your relationships, and your everyday choices, and how to move forward with clarity and steadiness. So until then, sit with the questions, listen inward, and I'll meet you there. Take care of you, take care of each other. This is Yoga Living. Be well.